To Israel now, where 4 more Hamas hostages are set to be released this weekend, bringing the total up to 7 released during the first phase of this ceasefire deal. Hamas is expected to give Israel the names of the hostages at some point today, and that exchange is set for tomorrow. The first phase of the ceasefire deal will last 6 weeks, releasing 33 hostages in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners. Joining me now, I have Jonathan Dekel-Chen. His son, Sagui Dekel-Chen, was taken hostage on October 7th. Jonathan, thank you for joining me this morning. My first question to you, how are your spirits this morning, knowing that the deal is still holding and former hostages are still scheduled to be released this weekend?
Well, I'm feeling a kind of nervous gratitude, we'll call it that. The gratitude is to the U.S. government, President Trump, and his team specifically, because for many months, as you know, the negotiation process was stalled between Israel and Hamas, simply with hostages dying or being murdered during that time. And since shortly after the election, President Trump made it clear what his expectations are about moving forward, and repeated those, those statements. And that clearly rattled cages in the Middle East amongst the intermediaries, Hamas, of course, but also in the Israeli government. And so we're overjoyed last week when 3 young women were released. This week, 4 young women are scheduled to be released, and we look forward to that. But the nervousness is because it is the Middle East, and the unexpected will happen. So we look to the Trump team to keep its finger on this, to make sure that none of the parties feel that they have wiggle room to get out of their commitments that were made, and to see it through, not just the first phase with 33 hostages being released, but all 3 phases where all 94 will come home.
Yeah. And you're also dealing with a terrorist organization that can't be trusted. So I know it's just a mix of emotions for you. Your son is a father of 3 daughters. He is not set to be released this weekend, but the Hostages and Missing Families Forum says he is expected to be one of the 33 released during phase 1. How confident are you that you'll get him back, Jonathan?
Well, as you said, we're dealing with a ruthless terrorist organization, and there's always a danger that they will back out. And to be completely frank, we don't know what his physical condition is. Hamas has never allowed Red Cross, Red Crescent visits, so we are just keeping our fingers crossed that this will go through. It's going to take a lot of work. There's far more work to be done in terms of this deal, all 3 phases, than has already been done. But I look forward to that day when Sagui steps out and or enters some room, some hallway where his 3 little girls, one of whom he's never met, can run into his arms and he can be reunited with his wife. I mean, that's what's gotten me up every morning and keeps me going, and really all of our family.
Yeah, it's what drives you to keep the fight going every day. I was thinking about asking you that same question. I mean, you must have daydreamed of that moment for 15 long months. What, outside of, him embracing his daughters, what do you imagine that moment to be like for you, the father, and how do you want to spend that first day?
Letting him know that whatever has happened to him, he has a lot to catch up on. We're from Kibbutz Nir Oz. 59 of our community of 400 were murdered that day. Our homes, our lives completely destroyed. So Sagui will have to rehabilitate body, but also mind. And there's a whole list of horrific things that he doesn't even know about yet. Friends, neighbors, childhood friends that he's grown up with that were murdered that day. And I'm not sure he knows anything about that. So letting him know, letting any hostage know that whatever has happened to them, they are going to be okay. Surrounded by family, by love, by professionals. But there's so much that they have yet to learn. It's very humbling to think about the road that they still have yet to travel once they're out of these hellhole tunnels.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.